Our exploration begins with a document of profound and unsettling implication, a nearly 900-year-old prophecy,
said to have been concealed for centuries within the Vatican archives, which purports to predict every pope in history.
This prophecy culminates in a description of a final, ominous pontiff, whose reign, it warns, will conclude with the destruction of the city of seven hills.
For over a decade, believers and skeptics alike have observed Pope Francis,
contemplating if he is the man destined to fulfill this ancient prediction.
Is Pope Francis the final pope of this prophecy? Or does his pontificate merely set the stage for the true final act?
The ancient text concludes with a final, declarative entry. Petrus Romanus, or Peter the Roman.
The narrative originates in the year 1139. An Irish archbishop, Malachy, undertakes a grueling journey to Rome. While there, it is claimed he was struck by a powerful vision, a waking trance, wherein the future of the papacy was revealed to him.
He witnessed a line of 112 future popes, stretching from his contemporary, Pope Celestine II, until the end of days. For each pontiff, he recorded a short, cryptic Latin phrase, a motto intended to define their reign. This list was presented to Pope Innocent II, who then commanded it be sealed in the papal archives, where it was lost to history for more than 400 years. The list itself is a series of riddles. From a castle on the Tiber, the angelic shepherd, flower of flowers. It culminates with the 112th entry, which diverges significantly from the preceding mottos. In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations. And when these things are finished, the city of seven hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people. The end.
For centuries, this text was regarded as little more than a historical curiosity. Yet, as the 20th century drew to a close and the list of popes neared its conclusion, a palpable tension began to build. Pope number 110, John Paul II, was assigned the motto De Labor Solis, from the labor of the sun. He was born on May 18, 1920, during a solar eclipse, and his funeral was held during another on April 8, 2005. A coincidence, perhaps, but the correlation was compelling. Then came number 111, the penultimate pope. His motto was Gloria Olivi, the glory of the olive. When Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger was elected, his choice of the papal name Benedict sent a significant signal. One of the branches of the Benedictine order is known as the Olivetans.
With the resignation of Benedict XVI, the stage was set. The next pope would correspond to the 112th and final entry. The world held its breath. Before we delve deeper, we must address the considerable challenge to the prophecy's authenticity. A substantial body of historians and Catholic scholars dismisses the entire text as an elaborate 16th century forgery. The prophecy was allegedly composed by Saint Malachy around 1139. However, there exists no mention of it by any writer for over 400 years. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, a friend and biographer of Malachy who documented many of his supposed miracles, never wrote a single word about this monumental vision. That historical silence is profound. The prophecy first appears publicly in 1595, within a book titled Lignum Vitae, authored by a Benedictine historian named Arnold Wyon. The prophecies for the popes who reigned before 1595 are astonishingly accurate, containing specific allusions to family names,
birthplaces, or personal coats of arms. In stark contrast, the mottos for all popes who reigned after 1595 become incredibly vague and symbolic. The prevailing theory suggests the prophecy was fabricated around 1590, during a contentious papal conclave. With the intent of supporting the candidacy of Cardinal Girolamo Simoncelli. The forgers simply worked backward, devising clever mottos for past popes from well-documented historical records. The Catholic Church itself maintains no official position on the prophecy, and many theologians have dismissed it as a work of fiction. The evidence for it being a forgery is strong. And yet, that has not stopped people from believing. Pope Paul VI, who reigned from 1963 to 1978. His designated motto was Flos Florum, meaning flower of flowers. The coat of arms of Paul VI featured 3 fleurs de lis, the iconic iris blossoms. Pope John Paul I in 1978. His motto was De Meditate Luni, of the half moon. His pontificate was one of the shortest in history, lasting only 33 days. He was elected on August 26, 1978, a day when the moon was precisely half full. His birth name was Albino Luciani, which translates to white light, another lunar association. He was born in the diocese of Belluno, meaning beautiful moon. And he died shortly after a lunar eclipse. The coincidences begin to accumulate, becoming more difficult to dismiss as mere chance. Pope John Paul II, whose reign spanned nearly 3 decades. His motto was De Labor Solis, the labor of the sun. He was born during a partial solar eclipse on May 18, 1920. And he was buried on April 8, 2005, the same day a hybrid solar eclipse was visible in the Western Hemisphere. His tireless global travels, which defined his papacy, were often metaphorically compared to the sun's own journey around the earth. The prophecy's penultimate pope, number 111, whose motto was Gloria Olivi, the glory of the olive. Many believed this signified the next pope would have connections to the Benedictine order, whose branches include the Olivetans. When Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger was elected, he chose the name Benedict, directly honoring Saint Benedict of Nursia, the founder of the Benedictine order. For many, this was seen as definitive proof. When white smoke emerged from the Sistine Chapel chimney on March 13, 2013, the world watched as Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina was introduced. As the first Jesuit pope, the first from the Americas, and the first to take the name Francis. A question immediately circulated among believers and skeptics: was this him? His name was Francis, not Peter. He was Argentinian, not Roman. However, proponents soon began to construct a case built on symbolic interpretation. Pope Francis chose his papal name to honor Saint Francis of Assisi. The birth name of Saint Francis of Assisi was Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone. Pietro is the Italian form of Peter. The prophecy, they argue, is symbolic. It did not require his name to be literally Peter, but for the name to be fundamentally linked to his identity. Though from Buenos Aires, he is, as all popes are, the Bishop of Rome. Proponents point to a more personal connection. Jorge Mario Bergoglio's father was an Italian immigrant. He is, by blood, of Italian, or Roman, heritage. The final part of the prophecy describes a shepherd who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations. He inherited a church confronting financial scandals and the clergy abuse crisis. His reign has been marked by internal doctrinal divisions, vocal opposition from conservative factions, and the immense global challenges of poverty, migration, and war. For many, he has been a shepherd leading his flock through exceptionally turbulent times.
Beyond the ancient text, there exists another, more visual prophecy that has captivated observers. It resides within the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls in Rome. Encircling the upper nave of this massive church is a frieze containing a series of mosaic portraits of every pope, from St. Peter to the present day. This tradition began in the 5th century. Though a fire in 1823 destroyed most of the original portraits, the series was meticulously restored and continued. After his election in 2013, the portrait of Pope Francis was duly installed in its place. There are a finite number of niches available for these portraits. A persistent belief has circulated: when the last space is filled, the world will end. It functions as a tangible, architectural doomsday clock. After Pope Francis's portrait was added, onlookers began to count the remaining empty niches. Some count suggesting 26 spaces remain, while others claim fewer. But the implication is always the same: time is running out. We are left with a prophecy that is almost certainly a 16th century forgery. Yet one that has maintained a startling relevance through a series of uncanny correlations with modern popes. Has the prophecy failed? Or are we simply in a period of pause, an intermission before a true final act? Could it be that Francis is the last pope on the numbered list, but that Peter the Roman is a separate figure? Who will emerge outside the normal line of succession, during a time of unprecedented crisis? The story of the prophecy of the popes is a powerful study of our deep-seated need to find order in history. To believe that a map exists for the chaotic journey of human events. It forces us to